guy, Killboy.
This podcast is old enough to drive.
Oh, hey,
16.
yeah, 16. Even though I'm kind of talking and hosting right now, he's your main host, Daryl Cannon, a.k.a. Killboy.
What's up? Nice.
And I'm,
Aston Martin.
Oh, I can't see nothing past these cameras. So I'm just going off of what he says from the driver's seat.
Hey, we're coming up on the jump bridge. It's all sunny now, too. That's cool.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to use a little of this 360 footage. We're going to come to you today from the Foothills Parkway.
Oof.
Currently going across what we call Speed Bridge or Abrams Bridge.
Not speed because you can go fast on it. Speed because it slows you down like a speed bump.
Yes.
It's like a speed bump, but it's a bridge. Speed bridge.
Hence, that bridge is the reason we call our truck, our little mini truck, the Gutbuster. Which will give you a little more information on him later in the episode. Obviously, we're not in the truck today. He is not comfortable enough to make this trek in.
Pass.
So, we're in the car, but we'll talk about the truck a little later. And today we're going to go back across the Foothills Parkway. We are turning in on the Chilhowie side. This is going to be between the 14 and 15 mile markers when you come off of the Dragon heading north.
Are we a commercial vehicle? We look like we're shooting a commercial. All this.
Well, I mean, you can identify however you want, I suppose.
We don't have any sign. We don't have any advertising on the outside of the car, so we're good.
Works for me. So, we're going to shoot our non-commercial content in our non-commercial car.
Sure.
To recap what's been going on, the last episode, Daryl was solo. I was recovering. I'll get more into that as I get down my list of things to talk about. We had the Vets versus the Dragon, which there was kind of all models, like across all generations, I think, came out for that.
It sounded like you said Beds, B-E-D-S, versus the Dragon, and all I just, for a second there, I just saw like people on beds going through the Dragon now. I don't want to give anybody ideas. Just saying. There needs to be a Beds versus the Dragon rally, I think. And everybody comes out with motorized sofas or something. Anyway.
Hey, there are people that have motorized their couches.
Vets versus the Dragon.
Corvettes versus the Dragon. Apparently, my southern slang is coming through a little strong for him today. So, excellent turnout with those folks. Like I said, models from all generations were present for that. It's really cool to see the evolution of those cars throughout the years. The Dragon Rally made their way through for their monthly curated drive of the area. And you've only got a couple chances to get in on one of those before the end of 2025. And at that point, it's time to start planning for 2026, which I don't know that he has released the dates yet. But we'll let you know when he does. There was a Evo Rally, or a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution.
Did you know there's also an Evo Harley Davidson?
I did not.
It's a term for one of their engines, I believe. So the Harley guys perked up, said, there was an Evo rally? Not that kind of Evo. Japanese.
The other Evo.
Sports cars. Sedans. Sports sedans. We have one of those, by the way.
Yes, we do. Still. At home. It's not driven.
Melting into the ground.
Melting! Especially today. So, for those of you not apprised to what the Mitsubishi Evolution is, it is a fantastic little sports car. At least it was for its time. And while they started a little early on, they were not introduced or imported into the United States until 2003. And we currently still own a 2005 Evo 8 model. If you're a real OG, you're going to remember that car. They did stop making the Evos in 2015.
I mean, people didn't want to spend $30,000, $40,000 on a Mitsubishi at the time, well, even now, but at the time the brand didn't carry a very high opinion among buyers in the United States. And the Evo wasn't like your typical Mitsubishi. It was actually built entirely in Japan, and to some pretty high quality standards, I guess. But it was an expensive car for a Mitsubishi, and it didn't have a lot of features. Didn't have ours. The year model that we got, cruise control, isn't even an option. So they were kind of bare bones and kind of expensive for what they were. But they were pretty good performers. Yeah, all-wheel drive system was really strong. They had a pretty solid motor. It's 4-cylinder turbo that made right under 300 horsepower, and they can be built to make over 1,000 pretty reliably. So they had a cult following, but they weren't a popular seller, so the company didn't really profit a whole lot off of them. They kind of flopped in the United States.
It's too bad, because it was a pretty terrific little car for what it was at the time.
And the steering rack in that thing was crazy fast. Like, I think that's the reason a lot of people struggle with driving them, and they crashed a lot, because they had such quick steering. It's one of the fastest steering racks, you know, as far as how far you turn the steering wheel and how far the wheels turn. It was crazy. It was how quick it steered to be so big. 4-door, you know, kind of a long car, but yeah, it's a good little car. Always had fun driving it.
In addition to the Evo rally that we had, there was some classic cars, which I believe Rod Runs was last weekend.
Yeah.
So a little spillover from that. I had some cool street rods, an old school Nova, an old kind of bulbousy looking Chevrolet truck. So it's like we get to see some of the cooler vehicles. We've always said the car show comes to us. We don't have to go out to these places. It's like all the cool stuff, you know, it tends to come to us. So thanks y'all for bringing out your cool cars. And there was that old bus type looking van thing that something straight out of Jeepers Creepers. You know, it was an old Mad Max style, just really cool. I don't know, bookmobile, bus. It wasn't a bus.
Bookmobile. That's what it was.
It might have been.
A library came to the Dragon. Creeper library.
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers library. I mean, it looked like something that big old Mothman would fly out of. And speaking of classics, we're going to have the Classics Hondas Rally. Classic Hondas Rally coming up in October. There was a small T-Rex rally. That is what those cars are called,
yeah,
right? I always second guess that. Oh, hey, we can see the tower from here. So we were tentatively thinking about walking up to the tower today and showing you the view, but it's raining and it's cloudy and foggy, hence there is no view. Although I did wear my rain boots just in case, but we can't show you the view if you can't see it.
Yeah, we'll see what it looks like when we come back through.
Let's see, Speedy Cop came through appropriately today. He was in his fishbowl car. That's got, I think, is it 2 of the Pacers back ends together, and it looks like a fishbowl, which fishbowl's appropriate for today's atmosphere.
A lot of glass in that thing.
There was an overland adventure thing that, okay, throw a couple of e-bikes on there and let's go. It's like you could take this thing off-road. I mean, it would probably go through a swamp. It looked pretty cool. I don't know what it was, but it looked really cool. There was a interesting camper setup. It was a kind of like an open chassis-ish car, pipe chassis, but it still had a windshield, and they were pulling a trailer full of what looked to be like camping stuff. So it was a very interesting adventure setup that this person had. Oh, and that 4-wheel trike that kind of looked like a car, but it was a motorcycle at heart, so would it be a quike?
Quike. Oh, you're talking about that, was it a Goldwing or Harley?
No, it's a Harley.
Harley that had like some crazy body kit car thing. Looked like a kid's bed or something with a motorcycle sticking out in the middle of it. It was crazy.
But it didn't have the 2 original motorcycle wheels.
Right.
Those were missing, so the articulation on that
There's a quad bike.
Gotta be one of the more interesting designs we've ever seen.
Definitely one of a kind. I don't think he bought that as a kid.
No. So kudos for the interesting, thought-provoking vehicle that you brought. Ooh, there was some wildlife in the area. A zebra. And a bobcat. It's one of the camo cars, demo Michigan manufacturer cars. I'll get it here in a minute.
Test mule.
Test mule. A zebra.
Test zebra.
And then an actual bobcat. The unicycles, getting it right this time. We're back in action. We're starting to see more. I don't know if it's the same people. Likely, as I gather, that's probably not the largest group of vehicle connoisseurs just yet, but they're becoming
electric
a thing.
Unicycles.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think when people hear unicycle, at least from my generation and stuff, you think about being up on top of a seat, tall. But that's not what these are. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're not street legal, so not condoning that or anything. Just is what it is. That's what we see out there, so we share it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We had one, and it did not go well for us.
I couldn't get the hang of it. Yeah, we couldn't get the hang of it, so
no.
Stick with my ciggies.
So yeah, those things, we can fully appreciate how difficult they are to maneuver on and not bust your butt a lot. Definitely wear your protective gear on those. Definitely elbows and knee pads. And the little standing scooters. I don't know if those have a technical name besides a standing scooter, but seeing more of those traversing.
Electrified.
Yeah, electric scooters. We'll do a little update recap on the health situation and why I was not in the podcast previously with Daryl. We had mentioned previous plus to that I was going to be going for a lumbar puncture to see if they could figure out what has been happening this year. And so the recovery from those lumbar punctures, if you're in the percentage of people that gets what they call the post-dural spinal headache, I feel for you, man. That was like some of the roughest 8 days of my life. So for the lumbar puncture, they go in, take out spinal fluid to test it for stuff, and everything so far has come back clear, negative, by all signs on their end. I'm a healthy individual. So no answers is still can be good answers. At least it rules things out that could be really scary. So I'm functioning good right now, fully recovered from that lumbar puncture, which you literally cannot stand up. Sit up. The ride home in this car from the airport was
looking back on it, lessons learned or whatever, she was good the first day. Like when they immediately did it and she left the hospital after an hour of observation, was pretty much okay. It was like she had been for the past, prior to going in. Still had some symptoms, but it hadn't really affected her yet. And then the next day it really hit her. And so looking back, we should have boogied on home like that day and got ahead of the symptoms before they caught up to you.
Yeah, we had flown up there and were scheduled to fly back home, and we kept pushing the flight because I couldn't even make it out of the hotel room. The headache was so severe. It was postural headache. Anytime I was upright would just make me so nauseous.
Yeah, even sitting up, let alone standing.
Yeah.
Sitting was hard. Standing was really hard. If she laid down, she felt a lot better, but still was not super comfortable. But it was a vast improvement over sitting up or standing up.
Yeah. And they don't give you anything besides take Tylenol, drink caffeine, and lay as flat as possible. I mean, what kind of torture remedy is that? Take up your caffeine
and get some rest.
And then lay flat.
So you're just laying there like restless fingers syndrome, restless everything syndrome.
The nerve sensations that I had prior to the lumbar puncture still have that, to where whenever you touch certain places, it feels like you're touching something else. Huge thank you to everybody that's reached out in support, checked in on me, and everything. It's means a lot. It's kind of cool that people are interested enough to follow along and see how things are going. And while it's not went the direction that we thought it would or was going to, given the sequence of things and testing, we're going to go with, it was just a glitch in my hardware this year, and had to do a little rebooting. So there's little quirks with the reboot, but this is just my glitch, and we're going to get past it and move on. So it'll be the great glitch of 2025.
At least you're improving. When they don't find anything wrong and you're still unhealthy, that's very frustrating. So for them to not find anything in the tests that they did, but she's improving, we're thinking that the antibiotics, like 3 rounds of antibiotics that you took, might have played a role in making her feel better.
Because I did progressively feel better every time I would take a round of the antibiotics, and took a super long round that last time. So maybe that was enough to kind of give it that kick out of here that it needed. And now that we are to the other side of the Foothills Parkway, it's stopped raining on this side. The road's kind of scattered, wet and dry. But here we're taking the exit off of the Foothills Parkway that can either take you into Townsend or toward Maryville, or you can loop back around and get back on the parkway and go back the way you just came. Today we have chosen the right route, and we're going in toward Townsend.
Yeah, I reckon we'll go down here and
See what's happening on a Monday.
yeah.
For those folks that, want to come when it's less busy weekdays, typically less busy on the road, less busy at the attractions, which some things are closed on Monday, Tuesday, sometimes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So make sure whatever you want is going to be open during the week, should you choose to go that route. Happening now, happenings right now, as of air date, is going to be the 412 rally, which I think there was some mentioning previously that we were unsure of what the 412 rally is. Well, I have an answer for you now. It is Pittsburgh's premier exotic, sports, and luxury car rally group.
That must be like their area code or something.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh, Virginia. No, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There's no Pittsburgh, Virginia. I think they in Pittsburgh.
Probably a Pittsburgh in every state.
Yeah, there probably is. So they're a Pittsburgh area-based group that brings together people with a shared passion for luxury cars and driving. They do drives of like all different levels of durations, from just going out to grab coffee, ice cream.
I mean, it is.
Ice cream. To even doing multi-day road trips, which is where we're going to see them, is on one of their multi-day road trips where they come, visit, pass through the area, and then travel back home. It's all kind of like getting your group of friends together and traveling out to these other places, not just having fun in your own backyard. And that's really kind of cool. And also going on is going to be the furry takeover, which we touched on previously in the episodes. And this actually started as an annual event in this area in 2018 and has just grown more and more each year.
Do we have a costume?
No,
Can inflatables be furries? We've got inflatables, right?
We got inflatable costumes, not furry
All right, get
costumes.
Ashby down here with his bunny costume.
So, if you're kind of wondering what we're talking about, what is a furry? It's basically a suit, a costume that's furry. In my very basic opinion of it. It's like the head of an animal on a human body, but with fur and paws or claws, whichever is more appropriate for that character. And it's like a cosplaying. And it's just genre of the cosplay, like it's a lot of anime characters, I think.
What's cosplay? It's costume play. Cosplay. It's short for costume, I think. So it's just like, playing around with costumes on.
It's how, for the older generations, it's dressing up for Halloween all year round, which some of us like to do. Leave me alone.
Don't come at me, bro.
Don't come at me, man. But as far as it goes with those big type of furry suits, I can tell you that's a darn workout. Carrying around the weight, plus it's a sauna, all at the same time, because I may or may not, around 25 years ago, donned a furry Bugs Bunny costume and walked around town in the local parade in the rain. Let me tell you how heavy that fur gets when it gets wet.
They got e-bikes.
Oh, cool. So I guess, we're getting on into Townsend if I can get my nose out of my notes for a little bit. Yeah, so I have donned one of these furry costumes and even rode on the back of a Miata at the end of the parade. So I have been the furry on the Miata 25 years ago. Is that like...
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was before we met.
Wow.
So back over to the furry takeover that's happening in our area. It's a gathering of folks that are members of the furry fandom in, that genre of cosplaying. If I'm saying that incorrectly, y'all be sure to let me know.
Right.
I personally prefer the zombie genre of cosplaying. And then there's all kinds of different cosplays you can get into. And there's a gathering for each of these folks. Like they have CreepyCon in Knoxville, which is a convention get-together for people that love all different types of horror type stuff.
Dragon Con's kind of everything too, right?
Yeah,
Down in
a lot of different costumes. Which I have never been to that. But, so it's really cool to see that this group combines two of their passions, which is...
Broncos are going by. I wonder if there's a Bronco rally. Isn't that always near the...
Yeah, there probably is the Bronco rally. It's just not on the calendar.
Old school Bronco. Well, all Broncos. But anyway, sorry. They were just going by and it made me think of it.
So yeah, it's cool that this group combines their passion for furry fandom and their enthusiasm for driving sports cars, motorcycles, whatever their avenue of vehiculage is, or if it's just a love of nature and wanting to be out hiking. But they can all gather and do combined interest, which is really cool. So thanks for coming back, y'all. Thanks for gathering here. So we're getting on into Townsend here, to where if you get off at what would be the midpoint of the Foothills Parkway now, instead of the end of the Foothills Parkway, because it now keeps going, you can get off and there's a few restaurants and gas stations back there. Look, that was the old barbecue place, wasn't it?
Jimbo's now.
I think they still serve barbecue.
Yeah. Trailhead Steak and Trout.
Townsend's a pretty small town. Oh yeah, and there's the gas station and eateries down that way. So we've turned around and we are now heading back through Townsend toward the Foothills Parkway. And if you turn at this traffic light that we're coming up on, if you make a right turn going from this direction, that will take you up toward Wares Valley as well, which is a lot more populated of a road. There's a lot more residents on it. So my advice is to go down here and get on that missing link of the foothills, and it takes you up there, which you can see Townsend. You can see this area from the parkway up there and the bridges.
Right.
Yeah.
Viaducts.
Viaducts. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, there's some cool shops and stores over here in Townsend if you get over here during hours. We're a little late in the evening, that stuff today. But one of my favorite coffee companies, Little River Coffee Company, is back there. Yeah. And they have some wonderful coffee. I'll make sure and link it in the description, comments, whatever. They've got a really nice sidewalk system for, people over here.
I think they call it a greenway when it's like that. It's like it's designed for you to be able to walk through the whole town.
That's cool.
Via this sidewalk, or I guess the e-bikes are allowed on it.
Yeah, and they used to have those weird like pedal 3-wheel bikes that you stand up on, but you pump like this instead of pedal. I've seen those over here a few times in previous years. Or things don't always go as planned. Originally, we thought we would hop off in Townsend and get food, whatnot, and then hop back on the parkway and do the rest of the segment. Well, as it turns out, by the time we get over into Townsend, it's like, I'm not hungry. I don't feel like eating. So I was like, we'll just kind of scrap that bit. It makes it a little bit of kind of awkward transitioning into, hey, we're running into Townsend. Okay, hey, now we're going back across the parkway.
We just gave you a tour of Townsend, that's all.
Yeah.
For those of you who have never been there, I mean, there's always people who've never even been on any of this. So my mom, hadn't been over here. There's always people who are curious about what's around here. It's good to show, even though it's super familiar to most of the people who come here a lot.
It was more of a, hey, if you get off the Phil's Parkway and drive this way, you'll go through this little town and be able to get things. Yeah. If you should need things, like food, gas, things.
Supply things.
We've just shown you a little preview of what Townsend, Tennessee is like. And that Townsend's another meeting area for some of the larger groups. And it's just, the area as a whole, I feel, is great for bringing people together of all different types of communities. Because if you are into the furry thing and in cars, hey, come here and do this. If you're into sporty riding and you have a mini bike like a Grom or a Benelli or something, hey, there's a rally for that. If you're into this specific model of car, there's probably a rally for that. And there's not as many bike rallies, I don't feel, as there used to be. But, there's something here to satisfy every driving and riding enthusiast. You got great scenery, a lot of ability to access nature. And speaking of access in nature, we're fixing to exercise our ability to hop back on the Foothills Parkway. And then the Foothills Parkway is a favorite amongst skygazers. If you want to come, just be somewhere that's out of the way. And this is where hopefully these little tidbits that we give you come in handy to enhance your enjoyment of the area. And it's going to inspire you to maybe have a different kind of experience whenever you're visiting. It's like, hey, that's something really cool to do while I'm there. I had never thought of doing that while I was on vacation in that area. And heck, some of it might even be things you can do at home in your own yard or in your own area. It's like the stargazing that you can generally do not on today's like today. The weather kind of put a little damper on that portion of this show and tell part. But being that we are remote, there is some fantastic stargazing opportunities to be had here. Would you say you feel that's correct?
Yeah, they're getting a little bit more light pollution from Maryville's urban sprawl coming towards Foothills Parkway, so it's not as dark as it used to be up here on the high points. But if you're close to this, it's probably one of the better places that you can come to see the sky at night. As close as it is to wherever you're at. But if you want to travel further, I think the Cherryla Skyway is still a much darker environment to be in. But that's another 2 hours from here, hour and a half from here. So
Yeah, depending on where you're staying.
yeah, exactly. If you're around this side of the area, then this is going to be your best bet. It's pretty good.
And I had hoped like a viewing area like this views off the side where there's not a whole lot in the way of industry. It's off the opposite side of Maryville and Knoxville, so it's going to be darker over there. Which, I mean, there are pull-offs on the Maryville-Knoxville side, and people like to just kind of sit and watch planes come in and out.
And look down on the city and everything. It's pretty cool at night.
I think, is that the side the really pretty sunset is off to the Maryville-Knoxville side, too?
I think so, yeah.
So that's why you always see the people parked on that side to watch.
Yeah.
So I was hoping to find an app on the phones that would give you good information on meteor showers, when they're going to be, what constellation they're going to be originating from, something that would give you all the information in one spot instead of having to, okay, you look for this information here, here, and here, and then, you know, you have to put it all together yourself, because there are some meteor showers that happen. There is the Orionids, and I full rights to really massacre any of these words.
No nitpicking.
Let's see, the Orionids, which will originate from the constellation of Orion, which is going to be around October 22nd, 23rd, so still a ways out. You've got time for preparations. And while I did not find an app that I was looking for, you can use stuff like Stellarium to kind of get a feel for where those constellations are going to be in the sky. So if you're looking to catch this next kind of showing of the Orionids sounds a little better. It's going to be after midnight into the more early morning hours, and there is the potential to see a peak of 10 to 20 meteors per hour, which to me that sounds like a pretty pleasant number. I mean, like 100 would be awesome. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I've seen ones that were said to be 60 per hour, and it's still that, you know, it's like there'll be small stuff that's really hard to see unless it's really dark. So that may not be that spectacular. But sometimes the ones with the lower numbers are the times that the lowers are number, because they sort of peak, you know, during a certain part of the day. They'll be more dramatic when there's less numbers. Does that make sense? And then as they start coming on fast, they're just little short, fast, weak bursts, I guess you could say. So during the off-peak times of a meteor shower, I've seen some of the most dramatic meteors because they're going more across the atmosphere rather than coming straight down into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think that was one of our favorite things to do early on, was to just lay on the ground at the overlook or somewhere.
Get your sleeping bag out, get your pillow out, inflatable lounge thing.
Yeah.
We won't call it what we're going to call it. And just lay back and look at the sky, let your eyes adjust. Takes about 10-15 minutes, and you'll start seeing just any little movement. You know, it jumps out at you.
So if you're in the middle of nowhere and you see a bunch of people just laying on the ground, looking up at the sky in the middle of nowhere, we're going to go with their stargazing. So kind of, you know, if you think about it, dim your headlights because, you know, night vision and all.
Yeah.
I know there's had to have been people that drove by in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night, and just see a bunch of people in sleeping bags laying on the ground, no tents or anything around.
I had to wonder what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people come here from maybe bigger cities or places that have darker skies than what we do. And I can tell you from growing up in Robbinsville, you knew when Friday night was, because that's when the lights were on at the Big Oak Stadium for high school football games and, you know, the home games on Friday nights. That was the brightest lights in the sky. You always knew you could see it for just miles. And then because prior to that, there was not a lot of industry. There wasn't a lot going on after dark. There were no bright lights. because those stadium lights are on.
And you can see the glare in the sky, I guess.
Yeah. And then the next big light to be put in was the Wendy's sign. I can remember how much light pollution there was because of that one sign going in. And then you get another sign like McDonald's, and then another sign, and another
just
sign.
Blew up.
So yeah, our town is getting, I don't know that I would call that a healthy glow, but it's getting a glow about it that's not necessarily a good thing at night.
I'm gonna wipe this lens on the 360 camera just to be sure there's nothing on there here. Oh, that's your transition.
All right, so here is where we can see more of the city, Maryville side. Continuing on our way up Foothills Parkway. I couldn't think of anything else to ride there. If you're in the area or any area that has some darker skies, the least amount of light pollution you can get from neighboring cities, the better. And just kind of go outside and look up at the stars every now and then. It's something I think that we don't think about doing as much anymore. Because to see a shooting star was like, oh, you know, that was a huge deal. And I think we've become a little complacent or something, in that we don't do like we did when we were younger, when we were kids, and just want to run outside and just look at the sky for hours hoping to see a piece of dust be flung across through there.
Speaking of wildlife, we may end up seeing some. I'm watching for it on the sides of the road. This road is bad for having some animals on it, prone to having animals on it, so just keep your eyes open and be ready to react however you need to any animals that might be on the edges of the road. Try not to assume that they'll stay there. Try not to assume that they'll move out of your way. Just slow down as much as you can before, as soon as you see them, and then try to stay on the pavement. Try not to leave the pavement and get into the grass in a situation that'll put you out of control.
Wise words from a man with experience.
Man, both of us.
From that, we're going to segue into mentioning the boat tours over at Fontana Lake on Miss Hazel. And I think this would be a pretty fantastic time of year to be able to do a boat tour over on Fontana Lake. Right now, we're coming into a unique opportunity of the season to where you can see a part of our wilderness that is not normally accessible unless you're on a boat.
Yeah, I bet when the leaves are changing, it's going to look really cool out there too.
And you're going to have your own tour guide, because the boat captain, from what I understand, is a local, how did they put this? So your boat captain happens to be a local historian too, so you're going to get some pretty primo information. I mean, somebody that knows their stuff a lot better than some people that just look it up the day before.
Just fine. Well, he's also not doing something different every time.
Yeah.
So it's easier to be an expert on something that gets repeated.
Give a Fontana Village for current pricing and schedules for Miss Hazel and their lake tours. Coming up, we are in Leaf Watch gambling season of 2025.
Gambling?
Yep. I'm going to start calling it gambling season, because everybody gambles on when to take their trip.
Oh, right.
We know the leaves are going to change.
I thought I was gambling on whether or not that's a leaf in the road or a rock.
Well, that's another kind of gambling that happens. Thankfully, it was a leaf. You don't want to gamble in it and turn out to be a rock. That's not so nice sometimes. And looking at the Tail of the Dragon event calendar to see what's coming up, it seems to be trending that most people are gambling on the third week in October to be primo Leaf Watch peak many words you want to cram in there and want to call it. How many
Extravaganza.
leaf peeper extravaganza people?
Leafers! Run!
So let's see. You know, it'd be interesting to see how that prediction on everybody's part works out. Because, I mean, these are all individual groups. They're not people that are getting together. Okay, what do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be? No, it's just a mutual convergence on everybody decide to gamble.
I mean, I'm already seeing it.
Yeah. It's starting to pop off a little early, and we're still in the end of September right now. So I don't know. Those people may have hit it on the mark, and that's going to be bam, or it could be over, or it could hold out and wait till afterwards. So we're in this gamble with the people too, I reckon. That being said, things do pick up and get a bit busier. Beginning of October, the 4th and 5th, we're going to have classic Hondas. October 3rd and 4th, we're going to have minis in Appalachia. Love the nameplate there. That's going to be like a smaller, I think, version of a small bull rally of the mini bikes and Groms. So cool to see them coming back out for a second smaller rally. October 4th and 5th is going to be Slammed Enough in Sevierville. The 8th through the 15th is the Purely Protege 5th annual rally on the Dragon. And the 9th through the 12th is going to be GTRs versus the Dragon. Godzilla versus the Dragon.
Trademark.
By you? Who? It probably is.
Whoever owns the brand, yes.
So that's what's going to be coming up on the event calendar over the course of the next few weeks. In area info, some interesting tidbits is 441 has reopened much ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So kudos to those workers for getting such an awesome job done. And it's coming just in time for what we've been talking about, the leaf season. Because we know that's a really popular road for people to go on when the leaves start changing.
Yeah.
You might even get to see a bear, which that was another perk of the lake tours on Miss Hazel, is the wildlife options you'll get to see. You can see anything from an eagle to a butterfly. But that's pretty much anywhere you go around here. You're more likely to see the butterfly, let's be honest. But there's a few eaglies.
Eaglies.
Flying around. If you get that, you're awesome. And this time of year, in my opinion, is what I like to call happy turbo weather.
Yeah. Get that chilled air, dense air. Turbos like it.
Makes them turbos happy. There's still time to plan your trip. The leaves have kind of just now started their transition in some of the lower levels. But you still have time. But don't dilly-dally. Get on it. And as we're getting in this time of year, it's starting to get chillier. We're still seeing some 70-degree temperatures during the day, but the winds are cooler. The temperatures are definitely cooler once the sun drops down behind the mountains. And it gets that nice crispness to the air that fall has.
Starbucks weather.
Even though we don't really have a Starbucks, you got to make your own coffee at home. We do have Kickin Cafe in Robbinsville, though.
Yeah.
So check that place out for some like lattes, coffees, a few pastries here and there.
K-I-N, Kin.
Yeah, K-I-N.
Yeah, if you want to look it up.
And I think they still
it's up.
serve alcohol in the evenings.
I think so, yeah. They've got a menu there that had some stuff on it. They're up near the courthouse in the middle of the old part of town in Robbinsville.
So while we don't have Starbucks, we do have Kin, or make your own at home. So that's your options. But Kin's is really good if you can get up there. And for this cooler weather, we do have some Killboy apparel, memorabilia, merchandise options for you, which the ladies' crop top sweatshirt that I am wearing here, and we have the brown and bronze shirt that Daryl is displaying today to match his car. Even though we still have not done a full reveal on the car yet, I know we're waiting on some other tidbits to come back so you get the full effect of it. Don't want to just show you everything and then you're not interested
Get my
anymore.
wheels back on it. It's going to look a lot different. Yeah. of that.
Good. Tell the Dragon Killboy store at the intersection of 129 and Highway 28 to get your cool Killboy merch. Oh, and I forgot to bring a 3D print. I was going to talk about the 3D prints and how we print those literally in our house and hand select every color. Fail boat on my part.
Next time. Make a note.
There was a note, and I forgot to bring a 3D print. So that's another tidbit. Daryl and I personally print all the 3D prints that are in the Tale of the Dragon store, hand selecting every color, sometimes even painting the models himself, because I really don't do that part
did
yet.
too.
I did it once. But he gets most of the
I like to
credit
say
for
they're
that.
imported from Robbinsville, not China. Everybody around is starting to sell 3D prints, and it's just getting them off of Temu or eBay or whatever.
Which we actually make ours, so everybody that buys one, y'all are awesome. Thank you so much for supporting that little adventure in 3D printing that we have going on.
Boat out there getting it. I have a pretty sunset out here.
Yeah,
We clear?
we're clear this way.
I can't see shit.
So as we've mentioned, you've still got time to plan your trips to the area, and this is the time of year that's just awesome for a fire pit in the late evening. You want to get back to your Airbnb, your accommodation, wherever, but while you're looking, see if they have availability for a fire pit. That might be the
Don't do that in hotel
nuance,
rooms.
but not in hotel rooms. Sometimes they have a community pit outside.
That sounds gross.
Yeah, it does. But if you can find an accommodation that has the ability to have a fire pit, check that out if it's not something you've ever done while in this area at night.
Get your marshmallows and graham crackers and chocolate on.
S'mores. Do they still have the s'mores McFlurry at McDonald's?
I don't know.
Oh,
They got s'mores kits at Fontana.
yeah.
You can buy them in the store, all the stuff you need to make one.
And you can rent the fire pit area or a bundle of firewood, whatnot.
Go out there, yeah, it's open. That's not recording.
Oh, how long has it not been recording?
I don't know. Did it run out of
Ooh.
memory card? And the battery's down to like 5%. All right, I'm gonna change the battery on the 360 camera and check the card. Yeah, there's the tow truck.
Yeah, that little car,
Seen better days.
they launched a little too hard, I think.
Center too hard, bud.
Too much sending. So, battery replaced, we are back on the road to get back to our traveling talking show. As you have noted, some of the leaves have already started changing and fallen into the roadway. And days like today when it's a little more damp, and especially in those early mornings when there's going to be a dew on the road, be mindful of those slippery leaves, because when they're wet, they don't just fluff off the road surface, and they can become quite hazardous actually. You get those unplanned slip and slides.
Yeah,
that you
I
don't
think
wanna
though
do.
people overreact when they're on the road and it's dry. For traction purposes, they're almost non-existent as far as traction goes, unless it's just a pile of leaves, obviously. But if there's scattered leaves here and there, they don't really mess with traction much, you know, on motorcycles or cars. But they will get into cooling ducts and cooling areas and have caused fires. So fire extinguishers, always a good idea. And just check your intakes and things like that, especially if you're behind other vehicles. The leaves can cause, you know, problems in those ways. They pile up into the intakes and whatnot.
Some other outdoor activity things to be mindful of if you participate while in the area. Be mindful of the food that you pack on your person if you're going to go out hiking, or even the food that you leave in a car, because I think if you've researched the area at all, you're going to come across the videos of the bears getting in the cars over in the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area. And that happens here too. Not as much, but the bears have a sweet tooth.
Yeah, and they can smell food from like miles away, even, you know, from inside of cars with the windows rolled up. If they don't have a really good seal, they'll claw at the car and try to get into it and everything if they can smell it.
Yeah, so it's being very mindful of the potential bear activity, because like chocolate and stuff like that, from what I understand, is like chumming the water to sharks for bears.
We don't have many incidents around here though, as far as the bear thing goes. It's not very common for them to interact with stuff around here.
No, but if you're going at a trailhead that's a little more remote,
Yeah.
or even having it on you can draw them to you. Keep that in mind. And if you're out at night, going out stargazing, that sort of thing, make sure you take flashlights. We don't want to be stepping on no nope ropes or anything of that nature, because this time of year, I think, because it is getting cooler at night, the snakes will come out to the warmer surfaces like rocks and the roadway that's still warm from the day to get their heat. So yeah, extra mindful around your feet if you go out at night, even during the day. And if you see a snake, don't attempt to move it unless you're some professional everyday snake wrangler. My advice is don't move it, go way around it, or turn back and try that hike again another day.
I don't think many people are going to argue with you there.
No. And this is the portion where we're going to talk a little bit about our little truck that we call Gutbuster, that we are obviously not in today. Speaking of Gutbuster, and I think I forgot to mention this earlier, there was some really cool mini trucks in the highlights these past couple weeks.
Yeah, for real.
It's like, let's bring back the true mini truck. Not
Sport
just
trucks.
one that's slightly smaller.
Right.
Sport trucks. I like that.
Gosh, there was one that was like a wide body with a V8 in the back. It was crazy. Just put it on the highlights this week, I think. It's coming up tomorrow or the next day. Thing is
Yes.
sick.
Bring back the mini trucks. I'm all for it. I support this. So our mini truck, I think the Dakota falls into the mini truck category, I would
Oh
say.
yeah, for sure.
This so elusively talked about truck is a 2002 Dodge Dakota RT. And it's the single cab, not the one that even has the little bit of extension in the back to give a little extra space. No, this one is full on. The back of the truck cab is right behind your seats.
Yeah.
Which we had the option. We were looking at two different ones. The one that we picked was in Robbinsville. It had been sitting on a car lot. And we've been looking at it, and finally decided, okay, this is the one we want.
I wanted that short wheelbase to keep the front and rear tires as close together as possible for the handling, and I just wanted the shorter version.
The suspension on it is nothing special. We've done nothing to the suspension on it.
Yeah, it did.
We did?
Well, it had the lowering setup on it, but then
The cut springs.
it broke, and then we replaced those front control arms with a little bit better front control arms that wouldn't fall, wouldn't break in the middle of a turn.
Yeah, we didn't put like coilovers
No,
or
it
anything
came
on
with very lowered suspension on it already. I don't like this spot right here.
Thank you.
It's one of those places where it's really hard to see what's coming behind you as a driver, and so if they pull over and there's a car in front of you and that car goes by them, they may think that's all there is that's going to go by, and they'll pull out right in front of you. So I just have to stay close to the car ahead of us so that we all stay together basically and don't make it confusing for the guy. So here you can see the extra rocks that they put on the inside of this turn I was telling Lori about.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like it could still stand to have some more there, but lighting is so pretty at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So back to the Dakota talk.
Dakota talk.
Dakota talk.
The RT. So it's got a what size motor?
5.8, 5.9.
5.9.
5.9.
So that's a 360 cubic inch, I think. And it gets like 7 miles to the gallon or something.
No miles to the gallon. Practically.
2 gallons to the mile.
But we saw it, and at the time we had a full-size Dodge truck, and
We weren't really feeling.
no, and it was a pain to load the bikes in and out, and we kept seeing this lowered little truck going on our way in and out of town, and finally it's like, all right, hey, y'all want to trade, and we'll give you some boot too. It worked out really handy, the height of the truck and being able to load things in and out of it very conveniently.
Right.
Which I mostly wouldn't know, because other than using a dock to use a ramp to get a full-size bike, I still have not loaded a bike into the bed of that truck without it being like a loading dock. Even the Benelli, I can't use a ramp because I'm afraid I'm going to like step up, catch my foot over the tailgate, I'm going to fall forward, and then the bike's going to fall on top of me, and the foot peg's going to impale me in my lungs. It's a whole thing. It's not a great picture in my head. So yeah, I have not successfully loaded a bike using a ramp, of one that you have to like step up on the truck. If there's a loading dock or a ramp where I can walk next to it, I can load that stuff all day long on my own. But yeah,
even on the flat ground with a ramp up it, I can just walk a motorcycle from the ground up into the bed all in one motion. It's so easy to walk up into if you're comfortable with doing that.
So
Not
you
you, I know.
say.
Not picking on you. Not picking on you. But yeah, it's been a great truck for hauling bikes in, and super easy to load.
You can put your go-kart, shifter carts, or Rotax
Right.
cart in it pretty simply.
Yeah.
Testing on the mic. Sweet. Hope y'all can hear me. Hey y'all, Future Kill Girl here with said Gutbuster. While I was reviewing the footage that we filmed the other day, that there was an error in our ways, and it was realized that we got a little sidetracked and never actually explained and gave you the skinny as promised as to why the Dakota you see here is called the Gutbuster. As a bonus, I am donning my lovely T-Rex suit. This is kind of here for your added comedic enjoyment of me from the future and explain the truck. And if this didn't work out, then this is where we will scrap the video and back to the podcast. But if it did work out, come along and join me in the Gutbuster. I guess this is not going to be one of those ride-along videos. We will find us a nice little spot here and get comfy. And as you can see behind me here, this is the little truck that we call this truck the Gutbuster. The little truck that we call the Gutbuster. While we did kind of get into some of the suspension stuff on the truck, I don't know if we really hit hard on the fact that it sits on the bump stops. There is no cushioning like you see here in my Rexy suit. There is no cushioning. This thing, it's like almost kind of like a wooden wagon whenever you ride in it. And going over said speed bridge, as we referred in the beginning of the podcast, even having our seatbelts on, the upward motion, if you hit that bridge at anything more than 5 miles an hour, you're going to come close to touching the roof while belted in. Not a fun time. And it is truly like a punch to the gut. Hence why we call it the Gutbuster. So, that being said, and if you will note the rims, these lovely 20-inch rims that we got and put on the truck not long after getting it. You know, let's see here, what size rim are these? These are a 275/30/20. You don't count on that 30 series sidewall to give you any cushioning on those bumps either, to help with not having those bump stops in place. So, you know, and this is the notable shorter wheelbase, as you can see. Well, can we measure in via my Rexy suit? It is all about optimal fun, peak performance, and handling. So here you see the short wheelbase. As you can see here from his short stature, easy to step up on this here tailgate. Makes it easy to load the bike from here to here, from here to there. If you're brave enough to get a run and a jump, which I'm not really willing to do it on a day when I'm not in a T-Rex suit, so I'm definitely not doing it today or while with a motorcycle, because I see my foot getting caught, I go down, and hence the bike comes down on top of. So yeah, no, you will not see me doing that anytime soon. And as you can see here from the truck current look, I had sanded it down probably around 7-8ish years ago now. Have it painted, and let's just say it hasn't made it to the paint booth yet. But I'm kind of digging it. It gives it that Mad Max kind of feel, you know? Even though in these days we usually just for hauling trash, trees, boxes, anything that we need hauling that won't fit in the back of the SUV goes in the back of this here thing. See? Even suitable for hauling a T-Rex. So, I hope you have enjoyed future me here in this lovely inflatable costume, giving you the skinny on the truck with the truck itself. Y'all can kind of thank Daryl for this brilliant idea. So peace out, y'all. Let you get back to the regularly scheduled podcast. Random Rexy out. This Random Rex insert, don't know what we'll call it yet. Randomly Rex. Will this be a one-time appearance, or will he be back? Who knows? All right, so that's going to be a wrap on episode 16 of Kicking It With That Guy, Killboy, and your co-host, Killgirl. Hope you've enjoyed this week. Kind of just doing a little slightly different format, just doing a leisurely drive across the foothills and then back across the Dragon. And as always, if you want to see what's going on, what's coming up, things you want to be a part of, things you want to avoid, check out the Tell the Dragon events page for what's going on there. They've also got a lot of accommodations, places to stay, places to eat while you're here. Check out their fall color schedule. See how close they get with things this year. Check out Fontana Village for the boat tours, and if you need a place to stay in the area, check out our link to stay in the Killboy cabins for a discounted rate. We got Smoky Mountain Drives leading their Dragon Rally drives every month. The Chasing Curves TV guys, keep an eye on them in content, which I think they just dropped a new video of Danielle and Omega that you're not going to want to miss. And then check out the ACW Atlanta Custom Wraps crew for your change. If you want to be doo-doo brown too, you can. Or you could pick a different color. Totally won't hurt our feelings. And as always, check out Club 129 and Killboy.com for your dragon photos. Till next week, peace y'all. Bye. Neighbors, love y'all. Even though I'm like in my own front yard, I'm like, what if the neighbors are looking out and seeing this?